Two of the greatest games of all time are getting a second life on Nintendo Switch and Nintendo Switch 2. The Super Mario Galaxy series is being updated with new versions to mark Super Mario's 40th anniversary and the release of its second animated film. But is it worth revisiting these 3D platformer classics? In this review, we share our experience playing Super Mario Galaxy and Super Mario Galaxy 2 on Nintendo Switch 2, with results brighter than we expected. Mario has had many 3D adventures over the years, but Super Mario Galaxy is the pinnacle of his own Olympus and even of all 3D platformers. Contemporary games try to emulate these brilliant titles that, back on the Nintendo Wii, redefined a genre. Now, they arrive as a bundle on Nintendo Switch and Nintendo Switch 2 with more improvements than we expected. First, you can also buy these games separately as digital downloads. They even show up on the system as two different entries. No surprise given the scope of these adventures, Super Mario Galaxy tells a different story that is, at the same time, fully canonical in its universe. Mario heads into space to rescue Princess Peach, the same as always, but with a twist. Don't expect anything out of the ordinary in Super Mario games. The plot is simple, though with nuances. The first Super Mario Galaxy introduces Rosalina and her Lumas, expanding the Mario universe's cast with one of its deepest characters and a story more out of place than the rest. Any hint of narrative depth in the world of Super Mario is welcomed by fans, and these remasters slightly expand it with new chapters from Rosalina's own story. Nintendo knew what fans wanted and delivered. Sadly, this isn't Paper Mario. Character development is practically non-existent, and Super Mario Galaxy 2's plot is an excuse to implement a bunch of brilliant ideas discarded from the first game, pushing its importance as low as it can go, even for the Super Mario series. Merely entertaining, the stories in Super Mario Galaxy and Super Mario Galaxy 2 have ups and downs with few surprises that serve as an excuse for what really matters in Super Mario. Porting a Wii game to Nintendo Switch 2 is such a big leap that it needed to be handled very carefully to work. Nintendo has increased the game's resolution and squeezed the most out of Switch and Switch 2 so that, as much as possible and without over-tinkering with the original work, it fits today. This is translated, for one, into a resolution bump. Nintendo Switch 2 outputs the game at 4K and 60 frames per second in TV mode. In handheld mode and on the first Nintendo Switch, the game runs at 1080p and 60 frames per second. A lot of adjustments have been made to UI sizes, fonts, and even menus, so this version does not clash aesthetically. Performance on the new consoles is impeccable, and we did not see a single issue in games that, even back in the Wii era and despite its modest hardware, were rock solid. Perhaps the most striking change is that the upgrade is not just resolution. Many asset textures have been revised to make the game look much better. Some textures have had their resolution increased over the Wii version. Others are literally brand new to give things like dirt or grass a much better look. This subtle change is a complete success and makes the game shine more than ever. The trade-off is that the models are still the same, so some characters, enemies, or environments may feel a bit dated. Luckily, the Super Mario Galaxy games are genuine marvels of design. Impeccable work that blends good taste with visual cohesion, resulting in impossible worlds that feel pulled straight from a dream. Sending Super Mario into space is just an excuse for Nintendo to pour all its creativity into these two games, which even today feel like true entertainment gems. This remaster of Super Mario Galaxy and Super Mario Galaxy 2 is not a by-the-numbers HD port. There are new textures, new characters, dialogue, and content that fully justify calling these titles remasters of the classics, similar to what The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD represented on Nintendo Switch. Nintendo has not touched the game's soundtrack compared to the Wii original. Beyond being full of innovative ideas, these are two games with musical compositions that have gone down in history for their quality. With Mahito Yokata and Koji Kondo at the helm, the soundtracks to Super Mario Galaxy and Super Mario Galaxy 2 are masterpieces any video game could aspire to. So much so that Nintendo has added an option on the title screen to listen to whatever tracks you want in a library-style standout player. Super Mario's voice in this Galaxy remaster is Charles Martinet, the classic Mario, keeping the same voice work as the Wii version. But Super Mario Galaxy is already a few years old. Let's not forget the first entry arrived in 2007, and consoles and control schemes have changed a lot over time. Galaxy was at the forefront of 3D platformers in terms of ease of handling and control, despite its structural wildness. But if you come from more modern games like Super Mario Odyssey or Donkey Kong Bonanza, you'll feel this game's controls are a bit clunky. Mario has a huge moveset that isn't as tightly linked together or as fluid as in his latest outings. The camera isn't fully free, and although it can be moved in increments, it isn't as comfortable or intuitive as a game like this demands. Quibbles aside, Super Mario Galaxy and Super Mario Galaxy 2 are one clever idea after another. These games put you in Mario's shoes as he travels across small planetoids with an exaggerated gravitational system that makes him circle around them, jump from one to another, or transform them in different ways. That's the gameplay core of Super Mario Galaxy. The rest is a burst of imagination. Mario's special power-ups and new ways to use them are a constant throughout the adventures. Yoshi has a standout role in Super Mario Galaxy 2, giving the gameplay an original twist that makes you wonder what would have become of these ideas if Nintendo hadn't released the sequel. The game's interface has been slightly redesigned to suit both Nintendo Switch and Switch 2 displays and the higher resolutions they run at, with new characters explaining the special functions of these remasters, plus a few additions fans of the originals will appreciate. Also, for anyone who found the original game tough, this remaster of the Super Mario Galaxy game includes an assist mode, where Mario has double health. That doesn't mean that falling into a black hole will end your run, so it's easier, but not that easy. This combination of two huge games runs over 30 hours combined, and if you want 100% completion, you can easily spend more than twice that. Have we already told you that the Super Mario Galaxy and Super Mario Galaxy 2 on Nintendo Switch systems aren't simple HD ports? Their resolution has increased, but enough has changed to consider them full remasters. Super Mario amiibo figures can be used to receive special rewards. You can play with the Nintendo Switch Pro Controller or the Nintendo Switch 2 Pro Controller and use their motion controls to aim on screen. Likewise, the touchscreen can be used as a pointer, or you can aim with the Joy-Con controllers when using them separately. Both titles can be played start to finish with a second player. This player can make Mario jump a little higher, shoot star bits, or stun enemies. On Nintendo Switch 2, the second player can use Joy-Con 2 mouse controls for more precise aiming. As you can see, these are many improvements that, together with the graphics, make them feel far from outdated despite being almost 20 years old. The full lineup of the big 3D Super Mario games is now on Nintendo Switch, and not in an ordinary way. Super Mario Galaxy gets an HD upgrade with a few improvements that make it more enjoyable and accessible than ever. It's remarkable that, despite all the time since its original Wii release, the level of design, art, and music are so strong that both entries still stand out as two of the most fun and original games you can play today. Mario's controls may be the part that has aged the worst. While they were excellent at the time, other platformers from Nintendo itself have made them feel their years. Super Mario Galaxy and Super Mario Galaxy 2 for Nintendo Switch and Switch 2 are full remasters of two of the best games ever made. Essential adventures for any video game fan, now brighter and in better shape than ever. What do you think of Super Mario Galaxy on Nintendo Switch and Switch 2? Don't miss these videos we've left here, and subscribe so you don't miss the next ones. Thanks for watching. See you next time.